Was this Junkyard Lexus V8 worth the investment for our drift build? Let's tear it down and find out.
Built with soul, not just steel.
So on our last video, we went ahead and removed all the main wiring harness except for this pigtail, which runs up under the cover. So we'll get that pigtail out today. We're gonna tear this thing down, pull the cylinder heads off, pull the oil pan, check a couple bearings. We're gonna check the scoring on the cylinder walls and see how this thing looks inside. This Lexus had about 170,000, if I remember correctly, at pick and pull. When I turn over the crank, seems like it has good compression. So motor actually seems to be in pretty good condition. Someone's been in here before. There's a couple little things I can tell, but timing belt even looks good. But we're gonna yank all the timing off. We'll get this thing torn down for you guys, and we'll try to get a good angle with the camera so you guys can kind of see and go along. I don't want this video to be too boring, so we'll probably time lapse some of the easy stuff for you. All right, things are looking pretty good so far. Got the valve covers off. We're gonna go ahead and start stripping all this timing cover off. We'll probably have to break out the big boy and a puller for this, but we'll get all this out of the way and then take a look, see where we're at. Okay, we got the front face pulled down, all the timing covers off. We're gonna get these distributors out. Just take your time. Some of the plastic might be brittle if you're getting a wrecking yard motor. Only clip we had snap was up here, no big deal. We can plastic weld that, but our timing components actually look pretty new. Like this was replaced. The tensioner looks fairly new, no leaks. The pulleys look new. Again, we're gonna replace it anyway, but looks like I said, somebody was taking care of this motor. We do have some oil leak back here, likely the oil pump cover. So we'll definitely get that gasket. But what I want to do, get these distributors out of the way. Once we get the distributors out of the way, we'll get this harness from behind this cover. And then we'll get this crossover pipe out of the way. And then we can start yanking the exhaust, yanking the cylinder heads, and then flip this thing over. It's probably got a little fluid left in it, so we'll have to get a bucket under it. All right, made a little mess. Usually these things should be fully drained already from pick and pull, but apparently this still had some stuff in it. What we're gonna do now, we got it rotated, we're gonna yank this exhaust off. We're gonna get this motor mount out of the way. We'll take some pictures just to make sure we got the right thing. We're probably gonna end up changing these mounts anyways to a different style, probably a solid mount, so that way we can transfer more torque to the rear diff and we'll have less engine flex inside the Celica. Then we'll get pulling the cams. The one cam needs to be locked in place. It's a two-piece gear, so we'll show you how to do that. But for now, let's get this ripped off. All right, you guys, we got all this ancillary stuff off. We're gonna go ahead and pin the camshaft. Let me show you guys what that looks like. It's pretty simple to do. So on these camshafts, you look here, they're a two-piece, and so there'll be a pin or bolt that needs to go through here and lock these two gears together before you pull them apart. So I believe it's an an M6 it looks like. Roughly, you'll have to check on yours, but that's gonna be where you put the bolt through, pin these together, and then you can safely pull these apart. I don't know if you can see here, but that one's in. It is an M6, about this length here. It's 1 inch, I believe, or maybe 3/4 of an inch. On this one, currently, we can't get to the slot, so we'll have to rotate these camshafts. And what we'll do is we'll just hand move the crank to make sure nothing interferes. We'll go nice and slow, and then we'll get this wrapped around, get this one in, locked down, and start disassembling this. So these ones are from ZK Tools off of Amazon. Not affiliated, not sponsored or anything like that, but these are for dual overhead cams. Those top two slides will be for the camshafts, and then all your lifters can go in the trays, your head bolts can go all the way around. So this helps keep everything organized. The little black spikes, or if you're disassembling your springs, your valve springs, you can put your springs over those little black spikes. Get yourself a set, especially when doing something like a 32 valve engine that you have to keep everything organized. You know, I throw a lot of bolts in a bucket, photographic memory, but a lot of the bolts around the block are all the same. You know, a few different lengths here and there. But when it comes to disassembling the actual valve train, you want to be super, super organized. Now, I don't know if this camshaft suffered from some oil starvation or if it's just because this motor was sitting. If you guys can see, the darkness on these cam lobes looks like oil starvation, but they're not worn, but like this back one's really, really dark, and it smells, releasing the cam bolts like burnt oil. So hopefully we don't got any oil starvation going on, but we'll find out here shortly. Everything seemed to rotate just fine. Like it wasn't, and you can look at the lobes themselves. Minus my dirty hands, but the lobes themselves look good. So I don't know if it was just from sitting, if this will clean off. Oh yeah, it's already starting to come off right there. There you go. You can see what I was talking about, this discoloration, but it's just rubbing it with just oil. It's cleaning itself off. So it's possibly that it was just been sitting so long that the oil started to putrefy on there. So all right, so now we're gonna start pulling the head bolts out. These are gonna be 12.14s. So all I have is a chrome socket, or chromoly, whatever they call it. So hopefully it doesn't crack. I like using impact sockets better, but yank these head bolts out. We're gonna replace the head bolts, obviously, so we'll keep 2 of them to hold this thing back together while it's on the stand. But for now, just yank them all out, get them out of our way. We're not fighting them, pulling this head off. Okay. All right, so let's get this first cylinder head off. Oh. Okay. Set this down out of the way. So far, the cylinder walls are looking great. We'll get that side off first, and then we'll rotate the crank. We'll show you guys what it looks like inside, but from here, it's looking really good. All right, you guys, I'll get you in there to look a closer look, but this crank rotates with ease, freely, definitely nothing seized. Of course, these first gen 1UZs are basically all forged internals. Let's see if I can get a wrench on this thing. So, I mean, it turns over with absolute ease. Let me go back this other way. Here we go. I mean, super, super easy. But that's why we wanted to go with a first gen non-VVTi block. Everything is overbuilt in this thing. Wipe out a couple of these cylinders. Let you get down in here. You can still see, well, I don't know if the camera will even capture this, but we're gonna try for you guys. You can still see the factory crosshatch on the cylinder walls from the honing process. So this thing is, there's not even a lip, there's nothing here, even with 190,000 miles. Absolutely no lip or anything, so. All right, we're gonna flip this thing over, get the pan yanked off real quick, pull main bearing, take a look. All right, you guys, so got that pan off. The like I said, the crank rolls, feels great. I don't feel any snags or anything, so likely all the bearings are gonna be good, but we're gonna double check. So what we're gonna do, since this is a front sump oil pan with the oil pump up front, everything's here, so the back of the motor gets oil last. So we're gonna pull the very rear main bearing, bearing number 5. We'll pull one of the rod bearings just to check them out. If these look good, likely all of these are gonna be good. We may end up throwing in, depending on the cost, we may end up throwing in just new bearings while we're in here, but likely if these are good, there's no point. These motors are bulletproof, so let's get this torn off and then we'll show you guys what they look like. All right, this is the very rear of the crank and the very last rod bearing. Crank, obviously these are forged. Absolutely nothing wrong with the crank. Even the bearings, for being 170, 180,000 miles, look really good. That's the rod cap there. There's the main bearing. These engines are way over engineered. They have, you've heard of a 2-bolt main, a 4-bolt main, and then just like the LS engines, you have a 6-bolt main. These are 6-bolt, so you got 4 studs and then 2 bolts that come in from the side. So this thing is literally bulletproof, like I said. looking at it, I mean, there is one little piece of copper starting to show, which is just normal wear. So we'll probably end up replacing at least the main bearings. But we're this far, we might as well just do them both, put some race bearings in this thing. Boy, do I have a mess to clean up. As you guys can see, this engine is still super healthy. It was worth the $600 at Pick and Pull. For now, that we're gonna call this a video, this is JP Street and Performance, where dream cars are built, not bought. From the first cut to the final pass, I'll catch you guys on the next project.